Well, guys. FUD is in the air. FUD is in the air. Yeah. So we're gonna go through some of the stories because obviously the markets had a pretty big retrace. And it started around here at 8 p.m. last night, British time. So I'm gonna get into what happened, what we can expect. Before I do, as always, I update my spreadsheet. First 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would crush it in the cycle. Had you invested $100 to each one when I released the videos and were still holding the bags, you would be in profit for $72,600. Power Ledger has absolutely crushed it. It's up like 117% today. I've held them all and I've closed positions on them all, and I've reinvested that money into new cryptos. And if you want to see what I'm in, you can check out Copy My Cryptos, where I share my portfolio that does continue to outperform the market. My biggest holdings will explode in value, particularly after this FUD session is over, as it were. And if you want to see, like I say, match my gains, you can check it out. I keep saying this, and today should serve as a reminder. The market will at some point crash, and we will hit a bear market, whether that's in a month or 3 or 4. So bank your profits along the way, for the love of God, guys. And remember, like, the amount of people that leave a market when it's in the bear cycle and come back when it's in the bull cycle is staggering. The bear market is the ideal time to be investing because coins are stupidly undervalued for the proposition that they offer. Case in point, found Phantom during the bear cycle was up 451 times in value, obviously retraced. But all I do during a bear cycle is find the coins that are hugely undervalued, and that's what I'll share with Copy My Crypto members. So if you want to be a part of it, because the bear cycle is going to come, you can check it out. Right, guys, Bitcoin. So at 8 p.m. last night in England, effectively, we started seeing the sell-off, and we're seems to be holding ground above 60k right now. Might still have a little more retracement, and there are a couple of things that happened, so we can get into that. First of all, the Joe Biden inked the infrastructure bill last night at late on, just before 8, effectively. So Biden signed the new US infrastructure bill into law, which, along with unlocking investments in transportation, broadband, and utilities, also rubber stamp new rules that tighten the rules for businesses handling crypto. Now, the bill also puts new mandates on brokers, which must now report any digital asset transaction over 10k to the IRS. Now, there's a frustration with the infrastructure bill. I've covered the infrastructure bill before, and the issue particularly is obviously with the language, these sort of mandates. But the people behind the bill have said, look, we're going to readjust the language. The problem is the bill's been signed now, so readjusting a language of a bill is a bit more problematic. But obviously this has created a little bit of FUD in the market for obvious reasons as well, because to some degree you've got businesses that are struggling more to necessarily enter the crypto space. So because they're going to have to effectively report every transaction over 10 grand. Now, to be fair, within America, if an individual moves more than 10 grand, that's immediately alerted to the IRS anyway. So it's almost like they've sort of matched it up. But the mandate on brokers, that language is problematic because it also has implications for staking and other areas within crypto. But this has obviously caused a little bit of FUD, and it's a temporary FUD. From my perspective, I don't see how that is going to change the overall sentiment around crypto. It's a frustration, but it's a frustration that businesses will circumvent in the same way that they circumvent paying taxes appropriately for normal money. They use banks to commit fraud or to do tax avoidance. They've always done it, and they always will. So this, while maybe off-putting to your smaller businesses, and maybe off-putting to your medium-sized businesses that can't implement tax avoidance, your big businesses aren't going to care. It's not going to make a difference, but it creates a nice little bit of FUD and creates buying opportunities. And if you notice, you just see the price drop down to 60,200 and then recover up to 60,600 very fast. In case in point, in the last hour, we've seen a third biggest whale address add 207 Bitcoin at 62k, which was literally 39 minutes ago. 207. And this is what we see. Bitcoin, you see opportunities, particularly whales see opportunities to buy in the market and increase their position. That's just what we'll see throughout the day. But it could keep dropping. The Wall Street Journal piled on as well because they released an article saying investing in crypto. The Twitter CFO, Ned Siegel, says investing in crypto doesn't make sense right now. But what he actually said, when people read it, because this got released at 8:48 Eastern Standard Time, so that at 2:48 in the UK. So this is this big wick candle here. And even if we make it into half an hour, yeah. So you can see, following that article's release, we saw another real dive in price. And all Ned Siegel actually said was, it doesn't make sense right now. We'd have to change our investment policy and choose to own assets that are more volatile. They reported 3.47 billion in cash and cash equivalents at the end of September. And he just echoed effectively the concern that some businesses have with doing this. But, listen to what's being said, and it doesn't make sense right now. Now, the fact that he's saying right now is important because we're coming up to, close-ish to the top of the cycle, right? We're not there yet, but like I said, the bear market's coming, so before we hit the top of the market, before the bear cycle comes, we have to hit the top of the market. And would you spend months or time, weeks, however long it takes, changing your investment policies to then buy assets when the market is close to its top or reasonably close to its top? Probably not. What I would expect is that we'll see Twitter start accumulating during a bear cycle, like you should during a bear cycle. Yeah. And that's it. He said there's a different set of decisions that we would have to make if we were to own cryptos on our balance sheets. So I don't disagree with that necessarily, but it's just timing. Because by the same token that we've seen Twitter go, not yet. It's effectively what he said, not yet. And they will. Tesla's got in on crypto, Square Inc.'s got in on crypto. A MicroStrategy and all the others. So it's sort of a matter of time, but it's again, one of these moments feels like a coordinated FUD thing, because you also had the Bank of England chair yesterday talking about it during the day. The deputy governor talking about the risk to financial stability. So it's just one of those where it's everything's come out at the same time. We've seen this before. It's part and parcel of the market. But remember these moments. When you start seeing that first negative story, or potentially a second, or a problematic story, or a problematic bill, remember it, because it will, again, in the next bull cycle, you'll see the same thing. But if you remember it, or you've got it logged somewhere, you know that the reaction is going to be negative sentiment in the market. Hell, you could short the market if you want. But like I said, so regardless of these few negative stories that have come in, we're still seeing whales adding to their bags. I'd be curious to see. Let's type in Ethereum whale, see if anything changed there. Ethereum whale, 5 days, 5 days. Nothing too much at the moment. Although to be fair, you can always check on holders, see what's happening. But yeah, so it's it's going to be one of those days, it seems. So we might still see market retraces, but it's based upon what we've seen previously. And there are a lot of people talking about, was 69 the top? I think that's pretty short-sighted. I mean, there's obviously a chance it could be, but fundamentally, guys, like, it was literally at the back end of September, 41k. It's up even right now, and it's still continuing that downwards slide. It's up 50% from the 30th of September. So I'm not convinced we're at a blow off top whatsoever. I think we've just had a coordinated set of articles that have been released, or things that have happened that have, I don't think the infrastructure bill necessarily is coordinated, but the infrastructure bill, an article about a CFO of Twitter, who's obviously influential, the Bank of England coming out with a statement before the infrastructure bill was signed, so unequivocally they probably knew that. It's just little things. And I think it's just what we're seeing. But even as we see it, we're still seeing whales adding to their wallet. But yeah, that's the state of affairs. Yeah. But 60 looks like it's holding. I don't think it will for too long. But I mean, it looks like it's going to dip below 60,000. And then, to be fair, it may very well recover over 60,000. There you go. Bit of a drop now. And yeah, we're just going to have to see how it plays out. But obviously, if you're in altcoins, it's going to be a bit of a bleed of a day, except for Power Ledger. Randomly, Power Ledger has gone wild. And there's no real news that I've seen about Power Ledger, or certainly not in articles form. So yeah. Well, FUD. So if you're happy with your bags, or you want to strengthen your bags, the next couple of days might be a useful time to do it. Anyway, so from me, hope you're all keeping well. If you're new to crypto, or if you've been in a while, check out Copy My Crypto. Like I said, my portfolio keeps outperforming the market. And I keep reiterating this, but for the love of God, guys, the market is going to hit bearish. It's going to go bear cycle sooner or later. So bank your profits along the way. But remember, the bear cycle was the opportunity. Bull cycle's great, but the bear cycle is where you find the investments that can set you up for life. And that's all I do during the bear cycles, is find those coins, and I'll be sharing them with the Copy My Crypto members. So if you want to be a part of it, you can check it out. Anyway, take care. Bye bye.